In all seriousness, oops, I
Turn off
forgot it.
something.
There we go. In all seriousness, like John, you can go prep your food if you want. It is still the pre-stream, so it's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna hang out and just chill a bit before I talk about things, okay? So yeah, nothing happened on 31st August 2025 in Blue Archive. Absolutely nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. I'm just going to drink some coffee and just get my juices rolling, get the energy pumping for a bit. Hello, Mo-chan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It is on brand, yes. Yes, Control, it is exactly on brand. If Koyuki were a real person, she would have done the exact same thing. Alright. So, what do I want to do? I'm just gonna... let me just calm myself down and... oh boy. A little taste of what's to come, Lurkis. A little taste of what's to come. Oh boy. For now, I just want to do something easy and maybe I will do a bit of fan fiction, maybe? A bit of fan fiction. To just calm myself down. So bloody hard to do this fan fiction. And yet, they're all hard because it requires a lot of planning and explanation. Making things work. A lot of planning and making things work. Better not judging stream. Oh. Why not? If it's... but I don't have enough. Non-spicy artwork. Campbell, so they always say that, but at the end of the day, they come crawling back because the clout and the attention is irresistible for some. Cyber Nemesis, good morning to you too. No one is happy with Mr. Pro ZD talking about authentic casting, then get really upset when he was also casted authentically. Then he started complaining to different producers and they ended up casting him inauthentically. And people were like, hey, didn't you... and people around was like, hey, wasn't you the one who asked for authentic casting? Why are you not being casted authentically? Then he just left Twitter. Man. Do as I say, not as I do. It's always an exhilarating experience to lecture people, but on the flip side, never listen to your own lectures. People are not wrong. Pro ZD is the Peter Dinklage of voice actors. Undeniable. Alright, let's we have 20 minutes, so I'm gonna spend these 20 minutes to just hang out with the lurkers and do a little bit of fan fiction. So we stopped here. The fight scene between our main character of this chapter and a bunch of bills in the Ruby fanfic. Fry, good Doro to you too. The one-sided slaughter. Just as she was about to end the one-sided slaughter in her mild disappointment, she felt the air. She felt a palpable but familiar shift in the air. If it was at all possible, the mild winds of the frozen tundra stilled completely, while a dense fog started to fill the air. Shadow Commander Threat. The problem with Threat Interactive, which is not an insult to Threat Interactive, but rather the opposite, is that from my observances, he teaches Unreal Engine 5 users how to properly optimize games. And for some reason, Unreal Engine 5 fans and even Unreal Engine and even Epic Games employees find a lot of trouble with that. Find a lot of issue with Threat Interactive. Find a little too much issue with Threat Interactive. They will say, oh, what you're saying is a lie, but he showed you the step-by-step process of how to get rid of bloat, get rid of a lot of fat from the game, from the engine. Did he? Oh yeah. Did he? He asked people to review bomb Unreal games. Well, I personally won't bomb. Personally, I won't ever ask people to review bomb any game, but the question you have to ask is, will the negative reviews be based off facts or will it be based off opinions? That's the next step. Because at some point, if people are going to review bomb Unreal Engine 5 games, they are going to review bomb Unreal Engine 5 games. So at that point in time, to assess whether the review bomb is in any way merit-based, that's the word I'm trying to think, merit-based, you have to assess the facts. Is most or almost all games except for 1 or 2? Is almost all Unreal Engine 5 games except for 1 or 2 a complete unoptimized disaster that causes misery to my PC and to me personally? Factually, yes. Factually, yes. Is almost every single dev who uses Unreal Engine 5 either woefully unprepared to use it, or for some one reason or another the engine is set up in a way as to throw a lot of devs off from properly understanding and comfortably using it? More likely than not. So, like I say, I would never ask someone to review bomb a game. But when I see a review bomb happening, I have to ask the question, is it a legitimate grievance that caused the review bomb, or is it just something stupid that caused the review bomb? And on the topic of Unreal Engine 5, I am of the opinion that it is a legitimate grievance. Of course, the AI is a free engine where you don't need to code. And that says a lot, doesn't it, Mew? That does say a lot, doesn't it? It is a free engine that you don't need to code, but even after that, every single game except for 1 or 2 comes out an absolute disaster. Is as much a problem with the engine as it is a problem with the devs. Undeniably. Undeniably. And you would think it being a free engine and not wasting as much time to code or build an engine from the ground up, the devs would spend all of that time on what matters: stability, optimization, all of that. But no. Of course not. Of course they won't. Of course they won't. Of course they will not. There is a little phrase that I have thought about in quite a lot of. It's an old Cantonese phrase. 你個頭，如果你個頭唔係咁大，做咩可以戴咁大頂帽？ If your head isn't that big, why are you wearing such a big hat? If you are not competent enough to wrestle with Unreal Engine 5, that everything that comes out of it from your end is a disaster, why use Unreal Engine 5? It damages your game, it damages player satisfaction, it damages your customers' impression of you, it destroys your reputation. All for what? For an engine that is free to use and there's some codes already done for you from the ground out the box? Isn't it a little more, I don't know, is it a little more better for the long run when you have a little more understanding of the engine you're using? Spend a few years to understand the engine, or even better, spend a few years to make an engine that suits your purposes from start to end, that you know at the back of your hand, instead of relying on something that you can just churn up a game out and destroy your reputation because it's a disaster. I don't understand. Something is off. Hold on, something is a little off. Let me check something. Let me check something. Something seems a little off. Don't mind me for a few seconds. Oh no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. No, everything's fine. Alright, just pardon me for a moment. I'm going to check some details. Okay, everything is fine. Everything is fine. There we go. Oh, let's see what they say. Let's see what you lurkers have to say about all of this. From what TI said, I don't suggest buying Unreal games, but if you do, you have to begin giving 1-star reviews to all Unreal Engine purchases. I don't know. I really don't know. It's obvious that you do not like what Thread Interactive has said, but I would be completely lying if I say that on a selfish and subconscious level, I kind of agree with what he says. I will never do it for sure, but I can understand his sentiments. In fact, I do share some of his sentiment, because I have been personally burned by Unreal Engine 5 games before. And I do not like it. I do not like what happens. Would I ever say it something like what Thread Interactive says? No. But do I feel at least on a foundational level the same way as Thread Interactive does over Unreal Engine 5 and the people who lazily rely on that engine for their games? Yes. So I hope that answers the question. It's probably something we might be a little mildly disagreement upon. 6 more minutes. Oh, what is going on? How am I doing today? I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Pretty okay. Thank you for asking, Marchan. I'm just checking to make sure everything is set up properly before it gets time for everything. What is... Ah, damn it. Why does it always do this to me? Why? Why? Okay. I just saw something a little jarring that don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Personally, I barely touch Unreal myself. When I touch Unity after they put the your earnings are out. hours now, stunned. Godot. Well, Godot has... Well... Godot has been... going the pak chor route. So yeah... You shouldn't be surprised. I'm doing good today. What happened to Rita? That is the better question here. Three more minutes. I just have to focus on this story. When will the laser eyes happen? OP, I'm doing okay today. Thank you for asking. It is quite shocking how many... Unreal Engine 5 has their own little pak chor problems where they force devs to change the way they type. They use the programming language. I think I made a post about it on X last week. And it is so stupid. Would I ever make... I won't say no. Really, I won't say no. Yes, it was going to... It is. It is pak chor language changing. Yes, that is correct. 115 days before Christmas. Alright. How many of you? 36 of you lurkers. And now it's time. Oh my goodness. Too much rambling, too little fanfic writing. I'll just save this first. So yeah. Let me just calm myself down for a little bit. I think I saw something that I cannot unsee, and it's kind of bothering me right now. I saw something I cannot unsee, and it's kind of bothering me. Let me just calm myself down. Alright, let's just actually start. Which one do I want to start with? Oh my goodness, okay. Okay. The struggle continues. The struggle continues. The struggle will just keep going. And it is so annoying. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. This is quite appalling behavior. Extremely appalling. It keeps happening. It keeps happening. All while Roblox is completely untouched. Completely untouched, unharmed. Sponsorship still there. Support still there. But Steam. Oh, games for adults is not. It's not on. Endless. It's so annoying and I hate every single second of it. So yes, your app has failed our review because we are unable to support the early access model of development for a game with mature themes. This I had hoped that Steam would do the spiteful thing towards the payment processes and add an extra line. Because of payment processes being problematic, being troublesome, we cannot accept mature theme games into early access. We are sorry. They should have just said something like that. If they're going to get flagged for it, throw the people responsible down. If they're going to get flagged, if Valve is going to get flagged for it, at least spell out the people responsible. Well, of course they won't. Of course they won't. Well, I was hoping they would, but shamefully they did not. And yeah, remember I'll talk about the Match Pro system. I hate these two payment processes so much. I hate them so much. I really hate them so much. It's pretty obvious. Steam was transparent about the blame game. Steam was very transparent. Those payment processes were the reason that your games are getting censored, the reason that your games are getting removed. And MasterCard, oh my goodness, their pettiness is beyond bounds. Pressured some banks to pull support from Steam and thereby disabling PayPal for Steam. Yes, I can see that. it's still horrifying that that is such a valid form of threat. And just so you know, all this continues to happen while Roblox is completely untouched. I will never stop reminding you it. I will never stop saying it. All of this keep happening while Roblox completely remains untouched. The schizo theory is that all these censorship issues happens because Blue Archive got released on Steam. They declared war on Blue Archive. I can see how that could be the case. That timing is too convenient, far too convenient. What if Roblox devs and Corp bribed? Of course they bribed. I struggle to imagine a reality where they will not bribe. I am pretty certain they did bribe. So that is the first part, and I want to invite you all on a related note, to read an interview. It is an interview with. Let me close some. For legal reasons, of course it is speculation. For sure it is speculation. For sure it is speculation. Okay, now on a related note. This guy, Jack Connor, managed to snag an interview from Collective Shout. I've only read a little bit of it, but I am very curious at what they're trying to say and what they're trying to pull with this attempt at an interview. And we can all read it together. So, I hope you are ready for whatever it is that's coming, because things are going to get very stupid, I expect. It is all going to get very stupid, very hypocritical, very lack of self-awareness, and very cowardly dodging the questions. So Jack Connor is the interviewer, I presume, but TLDR. Of course, this is according to them. Precious thing to removing adult games. And this is the gaslight that Collective Shout wants you all to rely on. This is the gaslight they want you all to rely on. Wait, while I show this, I'm going to also provide. I'm also going to provide some convenient screen caps of what else they complain about. Because for sure, this is not the only games they have a problem with. Far from it. There are even more games that just have simple adult themes and they already have a problem. Nobody has a human right to simulate in their fantasies or blah blah blah. Yeah, this is the person they're interviewing, by the way. Campaigns manager. Not being... Who are you to decide? Who are you to decide though? That's the question. Firstly, two issues. One, those aren't the only games you targeted. And two, who are you to decide? What gives you the right to decide? When something is legal and has no issues whatsoever in a legality standpoint, what gives you the right to decide what should or should not be made available for sale to adults, to literal adults? What gives you the right? It's not illegal, that's the point. You can say it is disgusting, you can say it's abhorrent, but it is not illegal. And no amount of buzzwords is going to change the fact that one of the games you tried to target was Detroit Become Human. No amount of gaslights is going to change the fact that you got a bakery to cancel their marketing campaign all over a shirt. So no, you don't get to play buzzwords here. We know what things you have an issue with, and they're petty. They're extremely petty. It's not just all of these things. These are not all of the things that you are targeting. Small group from Australia, but they have connections with the government. Last we checked. Connections with the government. And an equivalent of a governor, a state governor, the Australian equivalent of a state governor personally invited the head of Collective Shout to talk with him. Small group, sure, technically, but they are not grassroots. You know what shocks me the most about Australia? How are the people so reasonable, so laid back, so chill, and so free in their opinions and thinking the things they want to think, but that government is the complete opposite of everything an Australian is. Australians, you have to explain this to me. How is it possible that you have a government that is the complete opposite of you in every single way? Not just in the way they behave, like the ultra prude and this, that, gets all upset over about the most trivial things. But forcing things to be censored, forcing things to be banned. I remember the R18 games. The R18 games Australia was one of the last countries to permit R18 games. One of the last, if not the last. And we know and there are so many Australians, normal Australian people who are like, everything is fine, everything is chill, everything is calm. You like this, go ahead. You don't like this, it's fine. Why are the politicians and your government so different from you? And why do you vote for people who are so different from you? I don't understand. I do not understand. This is shocking. You could, do the vote independent. I don't know why so many of you insist on one or the other. Why is it always the blue and the red? What makes blue and red so special? Why is it always the blue and the red? In every single big country, so-called democratic countries, so-called very when both of your candidates are demons, and there is one underdog who is actually a human, why those people still vote for the demons? I do not understand. This is, by the way, this is an analogy, okay? It's a parable. It's a parable. It's not in relation to, for legal reasons, it's not in relation to any specific country, but more like a delve into the mindset of a voter. Who did Hero 101? How does it become? How does this become the reality where choosing two demons are the only chance of winning? This is shocking. But I'll finish. Let's continue on with this article. We have a lot to run through together. Today. We have a lot to run through together today. And Sheriff Pumpkin, welcome. Small group, my foot. Creators stir when it targeted Steam, the biggest platform of the campaign, and resulted in payment processes. Keep this in mind, okay? Keep this in mind. Collective Shout loves taking credit for this. They love taking credit for this. That because of them, Steam took down thousands of games. Because of them, payment processes pressured Steam to take down thousands of games. Remember this. I think you should remember this statement. Valve was forced to comply, blah 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 blah. It's nothing short of an uproar, thousands raising concerns of a new precedence. Remember, these payment providers, I will never stop reminding you all. I will never, ever, 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 ever stop reminding you all. These payment processors and providers are still partnered with Roblox. Till now. I want you to remember that. Till now, still partnered with Roblox. And every time you see someone from Collective Shout shouting about this. Every time you see Visa or MasterCard talking about damage to the brand, remind them. Always remind them. You are still partnered with Roblox. Just a simple line of text. Share it, leave it in the comments, quote post them, always mention that you are still partnered with Roblox. Till now. See you, controller. That one previously against platforms terms of service exactly right, because the new term 15 was added in response to payment providers exercising their fascistic standards. Following this decision, a widespread report of the impact of harassment. A harassment campaign? Really? Last I checked, most of the people are mainly just screen capping collective shout, like this one's. A whole lot of this, showing how useless how pathetic they are, and what they're targeting. They're targeting bakeries, they're targeting jeans, they're targeting undergarments, they're targeting adult books, they're targeting t-shirts, they're targeting GTA 5, they're targeting Detroit Become Human. And remember this one. This one at the center here, let's see if it's clear enough here I can see it. From this Pagliacci the Hated, basically running defense for an adult woman abusing a teenage boy. Running defense, and collective shout follows this person. This is the type of group you have to understand. All people did was show all of this, most of this, and they call it a harassment campaign. Oh wow, what a familiar term, a phrase. Just like feminist frequency, the quote-unquote harassment campaign is just people saying you did not play the game you are talking about. If you played the game you were talking about, you would understand instantly that what you are saying is completely untrue. That to them is harassment. And remember, we saw some of the threats. I think a lot of videos came out about the threats. One was from somebody whose email address does not even exist at the time the screen cap was posted. And secondly, two other ones are burner accounts that exist solely to leave mean comments on collective shout. And just so happen both of them are also from Australia. So explain how. You're gonna have to give more evidence than this, for real. And look at the gaslighting. This is really what these people are only capable of doing. Gaslighting and lying to your face. We have almost over a month of exposés and uncoverings of collective shout and what they have endorsed, what they have complained about, and what they have supported. And they still gaslight. They still treat everyone as idiots. Till this very day, they still treat everyone as idiots. And I hate that. And Takagi, I do understand that sentiment. I do hate that whole mindset. That whole mindset of, oh, I was involved in a harassment campaign. I was caught up in a harassment campaign. Therefore, no one can criticize me despite how wrong I am. That is so stupid. That is so extremely stupid. You did a wrong thing, you did a wrong thing. Nothing is changing that. Hurrah, welcome. And listen to their gaslights and rhetoric, okay? Because something funny is going to happen. We're going to see some very funny things happening soon. Okay, we are close to the interview. We are close to the interview. Important. I guess in my opinion, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. UK wants to impose their standards onto the rest of the world like colonialists of like the colonialists of old, the British colonialists of old. And now some parts of Australia are following in their colonizers' footsteps. How quaint. How quaint. Oh boy. In a nutshell, Visa and MasterCard deem the adult games as an elevated risk to their brands through association. Oh, you want to do that again, Visa? You want to do that again, MasterCard? Okay, let us do that. Let us do that again together. Let us go there together. Let's go there together. Let us go back there together. Brand risk. Damaging the brand. Let's go back there together. Let's go back together. Because I sure as hell would love to do it. I would love to go revisit your little statement together. Damage to the brand, Visa, MasterCard. Elevated risk to their brands through association, Visa, MasterCard. You are still partnered with Roblox. Where is the elevated risk to the brand through association? Where is it? At least with Roblox, you know it's blatantly illegal. With Roblox, you know it's blatantly illegal. Where? Pieces of hypocritical nonsense. Where is the brand risk? Visa, where is the brand risk? Where is the care for that brand risk? MasterCard, where is the care for that brand risk? Where? Tell me where. Go ahead, tell me where. Lurkers, or anyone who is watching this, ask them where. Ask them where. Where is that care for brand risk? Where is that care for the brand risk with Roblox? Literal human victims and perpetrators. Where? Our focus on combating this objectification or exploitation of women and girls, so we focus our energy there. Is that right? What about Detroit Become Human? What about GTA 5? Huh? What's so exploitative about those games? Why is legality not a defining factor? Why? Why do you get to judge? Why do you get to judge? Why do you get to judge? Why do you get that to judge and to censor things which are 100% legal but you have a problem with? Who gives you the right? And are you sure you want to talk about this? Is about documented evidence of harm to women and girls? We object to content that harms the status of women and girls, objectifies, dehumanizes them regardless of legal, illegal status. In some cases, of courses of content. You want to go there? You really want to go there? Collective shout? You sure you want to go there? You sure? You sure you want to go there? Over 500 girls will audition for this movie. This glorified piece of disgusting trash. Over 500 girls were doing that dance in front of adult producers. In front of adult producers. And now you want to lecture me about harm to girls? For real? You could have at least had some standards, you know? You could have at least have some standards. You care so much about harm to women and girls, objectifying them, dehumanizing them, abusing them. Yeah, this is what you say when Cuties came out. Grassroots campaign movement, remember, we talked about this in a previous stream, in a very previous stream. We talked about this in a very previous stream. I refer back to J Viper TV. He has uncovered a lot of things, especially here. Many of the members are directly linked to the Australian government. Bernie Pojak, Australian Government Finance Admin Manager. Kate Halsey, Secretary, Senior Management Public Sector. Treasurer for Australian Government. Director, Coach, individuals in government-linked sectors, also works in public sector. Has worked in advocacy with government and have ties with people in government. What grassroots is this? What grassroots is this? Explain to me. What is the grassroots? Explain to me what the grassroots is. Evidence-based. And you notice, evidence-based. Notice I have had the displeasure of going to their website before, and I can tell you for quite a level of certainty that every single claim they make is just a claim. They never give you evidence. They always say, trust me. According to experts' research, according to expert studies, but they never tell you who are the experts, and they will never tell you what studies. They just want you to know they don't like something. That is all they care about. Where is the evidence? Collector Shaw, where is the evidence? Where is the global research for decades? You never give us a study. You never ever give us a study. You never give us a research. You never give us a journal article. Nothing. All you do is just say, trust us. It's global research. Trust us. We have evidence. Trust us. It is a respected study. Who? Which study? Who was the one who conducted it? Nothing. What is the sample size? What is the margin of error? Nothing. It's literally just your claim. Just because you claim it is doesn't make it any less or more true. We already know the timeline. We have seen it. Gone from 0 to 1. We have seen the entire timeline. I have seen the entire timeline. Again, they don't show. They don't show. Let's have room. The global research. Which global research? You can't just say it. the global research from this outlet who samples this many people. You have to be specific. Global research. If you care as much as you claim you do, you would have the name of the global research ready to say out. I know I would. I know I would, if I cared about this topic enough. I would have used Rasmussen if it was Rasmussen, or anything like that. How many times do I have to show this? How many times do I have to show this? You went after 50 Shades of Grey as well. You went after 50 Shades of Grey as well, collective shout. What do you want? What are you trying to say? Women do not know what they want? Other women are too ignorant of what they want? That we as their superiors, their betters, will decide what other women should be able to enjoy and what they shouldn't? Is that what you're trying to say? For a group that supposedly represents women and girls, they seem to really hate when other women and girls have an opinion. Really makes you think. Really does. Critics argue this removes agency from women creating or consuming adult content. How do you reconcile with this? And that is true. Let's have a look at this. 50 Shades of Grey, written by a woman. 50 Shades of Grey, primary consumers, women. A lot of very questionable manga and anime and even off-brand doujins. Drawn by women. Written by women. One of the most famous off-brand artists and writers in the Japanese space. A woman. Yes. Basically, if you cut all of that buzzwords, is basically saying we get to decide what women enjoy and what they do not. That is their point. That is my point. That is the point. It does not matter what other women and girls like, what they enjoy. It does not matter what other adult women enjoy. If we do not like it, you do not have the right to consume it. That is their point. Do you believe that people engage with the content collected child advocated against more? Oh boy, what are we going to do with this? Oh, remember us? This is from the burner account that was made in Australia. For some reason, that burner account did not turn off locational services, so it immediately defaulted to Australia. And of course, sock puppet accounts from email addresses that do not exist. And of course, men include Madame Savvy, who is a woman. But they'll never tell him that. They'll never tell him that. One of the account is a woman. One of their biggest critics, their biggest, highest profile critics is a woman. They will never tell the interviewer that. Never. Never, 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 ever. Are the concerns about legality or ethical moral? Look at how non-committal this thing is. Oh, we don't really care if it's illegal or legal, but I think it's illegal. That's basically their first paragraph. And now they feel they are above the law, regardless of the law. They feel they are above the law. That is their point. The harms glorifying sexualized violence against are well established. You mean like cuties? But if so, you mean like cuties, right? You mean like cuties, right? It's so easy to make a movie that protests the exploitation of certain people and not blatantly showing it off in full detail for hours on end. Like cuties, right? You care so much about this. You care so much about this. Did you go against cuties? Did your head and leader go against cuties? What a way to say it. Nobody has a human right to do what they want to do behind closed doors. And they keep saying about these games, and they always forget time and time and time again. They were never targeting just those type of games. They were never targeting just those type of games. They targeted bakery advertisement. They targeted jeans advertisement. They targeted other video games like Detroit. They targeted undergarments. They targeted books. They targeted GTA 5. They targeted lip gloss. And they targeted Playboy. And of course, they targeted 50 Shades of Grey. It was never just about this. They were never just about this. They are lying. And I've just showed you they are lying. And to show you how deep their lies go, this one, right here, this woman, charged with felony for allegedly sending nudes to a 14-year-old. This Pagliacci say it's fine. And this is on their forums list. Collective shout. There's nothing else for me to say other than they are blatantly lying. The lie is so obvious and I don't even know who's buying it. Here's where things are going to get lurkers. Here is where things are going to get a little odd. Here's where things are going to get a little odd. I want you all to follow this closely. This is where things get a little odd. Okay? Violent games where players do this to people, is so without issue, but sexual content targeted? Why do you think sexuality, particularly involved women, draws more scrutiny than violence? I'm not sure I can agree that violent content. No, they definitely are. Even now, Australia, R18 games are completely permitted to be sold. GTA 5, mostly uncensored. Left 4 Dead 2. Because of the R18 games being legalized, the game is now fully uncensored when it was previously censored. Jack Thompson failed when he tried to get violent games censored. Basically, they're saying we are too afraid to. Basically, they're saying we are too afraid to target violent video games. That is their entire reasoning. It is a non-answer. It is a non-answer. Completely a non-answer. It's basically saying, shut up, I don't want to answer violent video games question. I'm just focusing on this. And this guy, to the credit of this interviewer, he started to drill into this question. He really does. If advocating for the removal of these games is based on the grounds that they're illegal, would you and Collective Shout agree to the removal of games depicting murder or any other illegal activities? He keeps asking it. Basically, this is just, we are only focusing on one thing. They didn't answer the question. They did not answer the question. They did not dare to answer the question. Really, they did not dare to answer the question. So I will sum up what they say. Basically, the interviewer is asking, you only talk about adult sexual activity video games. Do you ever target anything else like violent video games in the past, like Jack Thompson did? That's basically what the interviewer is asking. And their answers are basically, don't ask us about that, we are only focusing on this. That is literally their answer. And this guy, this interviewer, to his credit, he drilled. If not, how does Collective Shout distinguish between which crimes are acceptable to include in publicly accessible media and which aren't? they chicken out. Should payment processors be capable of drawing a line between transactions that are approved and what are blocked, even if the content of that transaction is technically illegal? Should the same apply to films, comics, and books depicting similar themes? They chicken out. When it matters most, they chicken out. You know what I think? I think Collective Shout are bullies. They are bullies. Through and through. They only target the small indie devs. They only target the small Japanese devs. They only target the smallest devs who they know for sure cannot defend themselves and cannot start a fuss. But the moment they start targeting Grand Theft Auto again, the moment they start targeting violent movies that got nominated in the Oscars, the moment they start targeting Saving Private Ryan, the moment they start targeting No Country for Old Men, oh, suddenly they're so afraid. They're so quiet. Oh, we are staying in our lane. That's literally what they're saying. We're staying in our lane. Shut up. We already answered your question, and the question is basically saying we are staying in our lane. Stop asking us this question. But when you say there are thousands of developers who work on this game that are currently legal, remember legal, that suffer financial damages due to their game not being removed from the platform. We are not responsible for or privy to platforms' processes. We are not responsible for your games being banned. I remind you. This part, Collective Shout, targeted Steam with a campaign that resulted. Now they are scurrying away saying that they had nothing to do with it. Do you notice the words? We are not responsible for or privy to the platform's processes, and at the same time they want to take credit. They want to take credit for pulling those games out. Look at this. They can't. They are just like Sweet Baby Inc. They can't help but take credit, but they're so afraid to admit they're taking credit. It's like when in front of people they want to show off too, they will take credit for it. But when in front of uncomfortable questions and scrutiny, they suddenly just want to say they're not responsible. Remember, the misogynistic abuse is quite literally primarily one woman saying you have a problem, and I have evidence showing you are a problem. And that is the misogynistic abuse. I'll see you, Burger Cat. Because the end of the interview. I felt like my brain cells just died off reading this interview. It was horrible. Good morning, Dwight. I felt like my brain cells just burst reading this interview. It is horrifying. It is horrible. We appeal to a censorious organization that has successfully censored media before, therefore it isn't our fault. What? Oh my god. I cannot understand how a group of people can be so petty, disgusting, and cowardly at the same time. It is tiresome. It is very tiresome. But I think that's the end of this article. I'm gonna take a short break. Okay, Luckies, I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be back in a few minutes and I will continue to a different topic. Related but different topic, okay? It's a related but different topic. Yeah, you saw that. You saw that, Zero. Yes, you saw that. There were dodging questions everywhere. They were dodging and dodging and dodging. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What? Zero, what have you been doing? Zero, what have you been doing? Look at all these comments. Oh, by the way, Lucas, since Zero has started to do this again, I'm going to do my own little bit. Lucas, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the notification button. And remember, it is still the Hungry Ghost month. If you do not like, comment, or subscribe, or ring the notification button, or send me a bunch of super chats or memberships, something might happen at 3 a.m. at night. Okay, just joking. But the like, comment, subscribe thing, I appreciate if you do. But it's up to you. I'm not going to force anyone to do anything they don't want. Oh, pretend this is a $1 million super chat. Oh my god. Alright, let's go back. Back. And what else? Oh yeah, there's one meme I want to review. There's something I want to watch. Oh, I don't know if it's... I don't... Oh shoot. I pressed the wrong button. Ah, thank goodness. It's working. Okay. What's the next topic do I want? Let me see. I've compiled a few topics to talk today. Okay. The next big topic. Then, what meme? Zephyr, what meme? Oh, let me check. Let me have a look. What's so special about this meme of yours? Enough. Let me close some tabs. Reading that was horrible and I am not having a good... Reading that interview was horrible and I'm not having a good time. Didn't dare scroll down. Do I have to? Oh my god, what the hell is that? No! What is... Really? Xenon, really? Really? For some reason, this would act... I have a feeling this would actually disturb you, Lurkers. I know this would disturb you, Lurkers. Yes, this will so disturb you, Lurkers. This will disturb you. It's like, are you possessed, Badmin? Are you... You're an imposter, aren't you? Imposter. Shrinkery is a food. Yeah, I should... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me just see something else fun. Do I have anything else that's fun to watch before I change to a different topic? Alright, let's go see. Oh yes, another funny meme for you, Lurkers. Another very funny meme for you, Lurkers. If you know, you know. I think Koyuki basically just said that there is no limit to who can enter Sensei's cafe. I think maybe there's like a notification on the board, an electronic notification on the board, and that basically says maximum 10 students or maximum 8 students are permitted in Sensei's cafe. And it changed it like all students welcome at the same time. And all the students really did come in to Sensei's cafe at the same time. Talk about Pro ZD.